the way we answer the question of the canon, and specifically in this week, the canon of the New Testament, will determine all sorts of conclusions, right? So individual Christians, whether they realize it or not, and regardless of their denomination, so whether they be Catholic, they're broad branch, Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant, or even outside those three major categories, they have certain ideas about the canon, even implicit ones. Even if they've never broached this question, they hold to certain ideas about what the canon is or is not. And so this question of canon is sort of like the foundation underneath our feet, right? I'm in a building right now, several stories up. I can't see the foundation, but it's there, and I'm depending on that foundation, whether I realize it or not. That is what the canon is in this conversation. It is the foundation, right? Because Christianity finds and Judaism as well, finds its roots in the scriptures. Its foundations are in the scriptures, along with other things. But the canon is certainly there. So this is why it's so important. So I'm going to argue that if we look back in the early centuries of the church, if we go back all the way to the late 1st century, 2nd century, and onwards, I'm going to argue that all the criteria that the church used in determining what the New Testament was in one way connected to authority, and that is the authority of the apostles and the churches and their ministers. The churches left behind by the apostles and the ministers who filled their spots after their departure. So I'm going to argue that just to summarize this again, I'm going to argue that all the criteria used were in one way or another connected to the authority of the apostles and the churches they left behind in their place after their departure. So in one way or another, it's going to get back to this one word, authority. So when you're thinking about the authority of the church, I'm going to argue, one needs to think about, not the authority of the church, but authority of the canon, or the canon, the New Testament books. One has to go to the authority of the church.